Hey guys, welcome to this week's video. I appreciate your time. We are going to talk about something that has been near and dear to my heart and the way I've approached homeownership and landscape management for many, many years now, going on 25 years. I hope you enjoy it. We're going to discuss walkabouts. Glad you're here. Let's get going. Hey, welcome back. Hey, we're not talking about the Australian Aboriginal walkabouts. We're not going in, that's not it. This is just kind of a funny name that I came up with something that is traditional for me as a homeowner and as a landscaper, that it tends to, for me, and hopefully for you if you apply it, is to ground yourself in the property that you have. Galvanize yourself might be a better adjective. And what I'm talking about here is doing a walkabout. For me, it's daily. I have the luxury right now of being able to go out and do my early morning walkabouts every day. And if you look in the background right now, a result of today's project was a walkabout. And what we're doing is we're putting up a big triangle corner down there on the driveway. We put our biggest boulders that were left here on the property when we bought it. Yeah, that was fun. You'll see part of that in a short or next week's video. But as a result of the walkabout, I came up with the idea and the little corner down there by the utility pole. It'll be a little corner bed as well. I have a lot of rock left over from the boulder island in the backyard, and I'm trying to figure out ways to constructively use it up. So doing walkabouts every morning, or in some cases if you're pumping hard 40, 50, 60 hours a week or more, you may only get to do a walkabout for a few minutes, maybe twice a week, maybe 3 times a week. And the reason I suggest doing this is for the galvanizing properties, yes, but it's also a proactive way of seeing what needs to be done, seeing what you have done and inspecting how things are coming along, whether it's a hardscape, something that you did already or that someone did for you. Maybe it's new plantings or annuals that you've put in, and how are they doing? Checking out the weather and making sure that your landscape is prepared for whatever weather is coming along. I'll give you a for instance. Out in Northern California right now, where I used to live, it is over 100 degrees. And it's been 100 degrees for probably the better part of 7 days now. And it's got another 4 or so to go. You want to talk about something that'll stress a landscape. And if you're not paying attention, if you're not on it, living plant tissue doesn't tolerate heat like that, except for those plants that are adapted and have evolved to handle those kinds of things. The average ornamentals need a little extra attention. The average turf grasses need a lot of attention. And that walkabout with a cup of coffee like I do is a great way to maybe go out and adjust your sprinkler timers. They may have to get bumped up a few extra minutes or kick in an extra watering at one point or another. This is the proactive part of doing a walkabout. So for my walkabouts recently, and even I took my eye off the ball just a little bit, and I'll explain what I mean. All the little plants that Maestro and I picked up at the garage sale, a lot of them went into the backyard island, part of the project that you saw last week's video, which I'll link right here for you if you're interested. But the remainder of the nursery here is going into other places. And part of my walkabout the other day, everything was fine in the morning. I came out and I took care of the seedlings, making sure everything was wet, took care of the tall phlox that are coming along here, the leftover rhododendrons, my remaining hosta. Everything was wet, everything was good. Then in the middle of the day, we ended up with a thunderstorm that had a small microburst as far as part of the storm. And it took all of this here and ones that have been destroyed and just threw them like they were nothing. Threw them all over the front yard. Some I was able to save, some I was not. So part of the walkabout after that storm, made it a second one for the day, was to pick up the pieces that Mother Nature had scattered all over. But every morning I come out and I check the moisture levels on these baby little plants and making sure they're ready to go in later this summer. And I have some tick seed and lupin and basil coming along for the kitchen. I even have some cilantro and some blanket flower, all things that are able to survive up here in 4B. And I hope to get them in the ground late summer, early fall. They'll be big enough. So you can see how the walkabout really kind of can guide you, especially up here, as far as what needs to be done, how are things looking, and preventative mental acuity that you know if something has changed in your yard. If you had a storm the night before, you need to go out and inspect. Are fences still good? Do you have any ponding or flooding? You know, what about those container plants that were just recently put in? Did you have some hail damage from a particular storm? These are the things that walkabouts will identify and allow you to take care of right away without any delay. That way, if there is something negative going on, you can stop it in its tracks, reverse it, and be able to put a positive spin on it and get things back the way they were. Walkabouts are a great way to pay attention to container stock that you have in the yard. If you have container stock that's accent plants that are out on a patio or a front walkway, things that are colorful, things that are permanent in their containers. These particular Veronica that we picked up the other day at Lowe's was a shining example of a neglected plant at a retail nursery. But since the discount was so deep, we picked up 5 of them, brought them up here. I was able to deadhead them out, give them a good feeding, and then set them out in the bright sunshine and let some of the powdery mildew that was starting on them at the nursery kind of go away. There's still a little bit here, but they've already started to bounce back. And this is the kind of stuff that I come out in the morning, I take a look at them, see how they're doing. I take a look at the boulder island that we put in a couple of weeks ago and see how the plants are doing. I love getting up in the garden and checking the moisture level in and around the root balls and making sure that they're A-OK, or giving them a good drink to start the day off. Walkabouts are a wonderful tool. They really are. And I very, very much enjoy them. And not only just for the ornamental side of the property, but also down in the forest, at the pond, at the brook. I love going down every couple of weeks and taking the string trimmer and trimming around the pond and keeping Jurassic Park down there somewhat at bay and making it look relatively tidy without losing the natural look to it. And then the forest trail that we've created, which you should take a walk with us sometime on the short. It's just a wonderful way to wander and take a walk in the woods without, exerting yourself too much. You can walk around this whole property on the trail and on the driveways and everything, and we generally get in about a half mile per lap, which isn't bad. You do 4 laps, you got a couple miles for the day and you're good. This is all part of the planning and execution that basically comes from walkabouts, where the ideas actually originate, and then how you can execute them and bring them to fruition all comes from those mental moments when you're out there with that cup of joe or your favorite drink. Or if you do your walkabouts in the evening, maybe you have a glass of wine or sparkling water and you're out taking inventory of the property and landscape that you work so darn hard on to maintain. Now, I realize landscaping and keeping everything to the nines is not for everybody. I get it. It's not for everybody. It's like playing the piano for me. Number one, I don't know how, and number two, I have no desire to learn it. But for some people, that's their driving force, and I get it. So if you have a yard that gets you by, so to speak, you know, to each their own. It's certainly not the way Maestro and I live. We like to have as nice of things as we can in direct correlation to what we can provide for the property. How much, you know, we're not gonna break the bank. We didn't break the bank here, and yet it still came out okay. It really did. One particular aspect of my walkabouts every day lately has been these babies here. These green giant arborvitaes, which we took off of the garage wall, which were horribly placed, we have now put them over here on the hill. And I'll be honest with you, for about the last 70 days since we took them from that location and put them over here on the hill, I actually didn't think they were going to make it. They took a harder hit than I anticipated. However, in the last 3 weeks or so, I have seen a resounding rebound in them. They have reestablished and they are starting to flush out new growth to the terms of about 3 inches now. And for a green giant that got transplanted this year, I'm pretty proud of that. So in 70 days, I think I fed them 3 times, half strength Mir acid from Miracle-Gro, and they've seemed to have pulled through. But it's something that I paid attention to regularly. We had a couple of hot spells, and for us, you know, a hot spell is high 80s, low 90s. And I know I'm going to hear it in the comments. But for the most part, they got an extra drink, probably twice that week, and made sure that they had a good root zone that was moist and able to take care of business the way it's supposed to. So you can see that walkabouts will identify things that need to be done, identify things that you have done and make sure that they're successful, and then things that probably need to be done in the future, the near future. And for example, I'll give you an example. I want to reach out and acknowledge Lowe's Incorporated in this particular video. We've partnered up with them as an affiliate. They have graciously provided some resources to us where we went out and got a couple of tools that Brook and Pond really need. One of them is a 12-gallon shop vac, which takes care of our 1-ton dually, and it also takes care of some of the areas that Coach tracks into the house on a regular basis, just as Maestro. And the pressure washer has been a great tool that we've added to our arsenal to take care of the tractor, take care of the metal siding on the house, and we cannot thank Lowe's enough for joining with us, and we want to say a special thanks out to them. If you're interested in the shop vac, if you're interested in the pressure washer, which we have been very impressed with over the past 3 or 4 days, I suggest you take a look at the link below, and anything that you might purchase as a result of that affiliate, we get a little something that goes back into the business of running this YouTube channel. So once again, Lowe's, thank you very much. So probably for the last 25, 30 years, one of the things that I've always done since I've been in the nursery industry is my walkabouts always went around with one of these guys on my hip. These are Felco shears. And I don't know how many times I have had these on my hip, and during a walkabout, I will see plants that need deadheading, see maybe a little nip and tuck here on perennials or shrubbery, maybe a branch that's hanging lower than it should. And a little tool just as simple as this puts me in the mindset of, hey, check out this and check out that, and take care of business as far as nipping and tucking and then taking the debris and putting it in the green can or putting it on the burn pile, whatever you guys might have. Hey, if you're interested in a Felco shear like this, which is a lifetime tool, once you get it and you take care of it, you won't need to get another one. They're lifetime type tools. We'll put a link in below where you can find it on the Amazon page. Hey, that's pretty much what I have for you. I really do appreciate your time. We have some leftover rock that we have to address this week. We're getting a little bit more soil brought in for the triangle bed that we're putting down there. And as this summer progresses, we are having a blast bringing brook and pond to life again and raising the level of greenery around here. It's not quite so gravelly. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I'm only an email away at youryardcoach@gmail.com. And if you have a chance, go over to the website, check it out. We got the course, the ebook, and a couple of good checklists for you. We really do. I appreciate your time. As always, to your landscape success, I'll catch you guys next week. Thank you for your attention. As always, we appreciate each and every one of you. And if you would do me a favor, drop a subscribe and a like below. It would really help, really help. We noticed that 90% of the viewers are not subscribers. If I could change that by about 40%, I would be a very happy camper. So until next week or sooner, we'll catch you guys then. Bye for now.